Bom dia, Brasil! Direto da Rússia, hoje com o Valentin. Bom
Bom,
dia, Valentin.
bom dia a todos.
Hoje eu já falo português.
É muito prazer encontrar com você aqui em nosso escritório de RS Legal in Moscow. So, my Portuguese is not so well, unfortunately. So, we'll continue in English, but later on we'll speak Portuguese for sure.
I'm surprised you really, você fala muito bem português. É,
Obrigado.
não, é sério? Pode continuar falando português, se quiser fazer a entrevista toda em português. Bom,
So,
a entrevista vai ser em inglês, como a gente fez a outra vez, no primeiro podcast. O Valentim, ele é um advogado que trabalha aqui na Erisle Global, que é uma empresa global de advocacia, e ele tem um vasto conhecimento sobre o mercado russo, sobre as relações Brasil-Rússia, e tem todo um conhecimento para ajudar as empresas brasileiras a chegarem aqui no mercado russo. Porque, como todos sabemos, existem diferenças entre a cada país tem a sua legislação e, claro, que precisa de um suporte legal para que possa entrar, se estabelecer e não ter maiores problemas no mercado, assim como a gente tem no Brasil. Então, no Brasil a gente precisa de um advogado acompanhando juridicamente e aqui na Rússia não seria diferente. Então vamos lá, a gente vai começar a falar em inglês agora e vamos para nosso primeiro tópico. Na verdade, hoje a gente we go, we speak, now I started speaking English. We'll talk today about due diligence. Essentially, I don't know nothing about that.
okay.
So please explain it to us. I'm sure that Brazilian businessmen know about this. Me is like, okay, I didn't know about this part, but after I study a bit and understand that it's really necessary for investigate how is the business for investing. So could you please explain to
Mhm.
us what is the due diligence?
Mhm. First of all, thank you for this introduction. Yes, it's much pleasure. Yes, to meet you in our office here. Office here is legal. Yes, we are a law firm who does a lot of due diligence. Yes, so we.
Well,
I'm very happy to explain what it's about. So basically, in a nutshell, the due diligence can be described as a process of collection and evaluation of information about the counterparty and about the certain asset before you enter into relations with the counterparty or before you buy the asset. So basically, it's legal evaluation of risks. If we talk about legal due diligence, of course, there may be technical due diligence, maybe financial due diligence, but now we concentrate on legal due diligence.
mm,
So basically, legal due diligence is evaluation of legal risks before you enter into relations. It's, of course, very important for any business to evaluate the risks, to assess the legal environment, to assess the counterparty, business counterparty, before you enter into relations with this counterparty and before you make some sort of business decisions.
okay. Well, it's quite clear now. Why should it be done?
Mhm.
In fact,
Mhm.
because you explained that we need to make investigation, but I mean, as we talk about last time, need to be Brazilian need to think about long term investment in Russia. So they don't understand this relation, in fact. But why should it be done? Because the majority think just okay, I come and I just
Mhm.
invest. I choose one company because it's profitable and so on.
Mhm.
I just go straight. I don't need any device. Why it's really be?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, the due diligence process is necessary in order to carefully check the risks and to make the decision, in a wise way, a really wise way, in order not to get stuck into legal problems in the later stage. Basically, that's what due diligence is all about. So, if a Brazilian company plans to enter the Russian market, last time we discussed the opportunities which Russian markets currently presents. It needs to find some sort of asset here to invest, or it needs to find a Russian counterparty. And when the counterparty is found, from business side, you need to understand who is this counterparty from legal point of view, because not always the companies or businessmen reveal all the risks, all the legal issues before in open relations, open discussion with other businessmen. So you need to check the legal problems which may be attached to certain asset, or legal issues related to certain legal businessman. So it's necessary from perspective of making business decision in a secure way, in order to manage the legal risks, and in order to find really reputable, really solid business partner, and to keep business going in a good way at late stage. That's why you need to make a legal due diligence, and that's why we're here, and we're here to help help yes, conduct this legal due diligence here in Russia.
Okay, we got that. Got it.
Yeah.
About for Brazilian counterparties, Russian counterparties, and the Brazilian business, what should be checked
Mhm.
before they come and
Mhm.
invest?
Yes, if you
I
don't.
mean, steps and
Yes, I understand this. If we talk about legal diligence of the counterparty, there are certain issues which should be very carefully checked from legal point of view. First of all, if you're talking about with the Russian company, you have to check that it's properly registered, and you have to check through a corporate register that this company really exists.
in
Yes,
Russia.
in Russia, yes, that it's not under liquidation process, and it's not under bankruptcy process. Then you have to check that who is the general director, because it's necessary to understand who is the signatory of documents if you sign them. You need to check whether this general director is fully capable to carry out his business. I mean, sometimes the general director's company can be disqualified for certain issues, and it should be checked whether this person really can carry out these responsibilities. Also, when we're doing legal due diligence, we're checking court trials involved in these companies. There are open court databases, so we can advise our clients that this company is participating in large court trials, which may result in problems or even bankruptcy at late stage. Also, we can check financial turnover, registered financial turnover of the company, so you can understand whether this company has 100,000 turnover over a year, or 100 million turnover through the last year. We can also check such issues like licenses. Yes, but they have registered licenses, and we can also check whether this person is sanctioned or not, because it's also important these days, because
Yes.
in the current unfortunate environment, it's necessary to check whether this counterparty falls under any sanctions, because it may be important for Brazilian businessmen. Maybe not, but sometimes it's important.
I think for the majority of Brazilian brands, they are interested if the company is sectioned or not,
Mhm.
or how they should invest in. Even for them in Brazil, they need be careful how doing
Sure.
business here during this situation. Okay, we
Mhm.
can do it.
Yes.
Um, sorry.
Yes, and I just want to mention that we're talking about the corporate due diligence movement, but if a Brazilian company plans to invest some sort of asset, I mean, for instance, real estate, there are additional areas which also can be checked. The registration of title of the building, of landlord, some town planning zoning requirements can be checked. Some encumbrances can be checked, and some restrictions imposed on this property also can be checked during legal due diligence process. So all these areas can be checked from independent sources, which I just told that even the counterparty doesn't reveal this information, we can check this information which I mentioned before in open sources and present the Brazilian business with our report for the business to understand who's talking with. Really.
Great,
Yes.
great.
Yes, there are a lot of open databases, legal databases, which can be used in these purposes and can be checked, and we can prepare a really comprehensive report in order to prepare a clear picture for legal point of view before going further in communication in business relations with the potential Russian counterparts.
Well, it's not so much different of the other countries, by the
Yes.
way, because if you go to Britain and the
So
US, you have the same step, no?
absolutely, absolutely. Yes, more or less it's widely used practice all over the world. Yes,
Yeah,
and that's why this is standard,
yeah, yeah, standard.
stage, legal stage, which should be done before entering into interaction with counterpart.
Mm, yeah. No, his hair is global,
Yeah,
so
exactly, exactly.
it's standard. Okay, and the advantages of it, I put in this question, but I think it's quite clear the advantages of it.
Yes,
It's about information, which company, who is in charge,
exactly.
all legal stuff
Mm.
for people take this Brazilian businessmen take decision to choose this company and
Yes,
invest in it. It's about more security
exactly.
reasons. Well, I don't have experience, but I read a lot of about investments on the companies and so on. How about when the company lies about some stuff? How you can check it?
Mhm. There are information, there are sources of information which cannot be, closed for
Okay.
third parties. I mean, there are open databases, there are open registers. Which we can use. I mean, we as lawyers, and even if the company lies, and sometimes, sometimes it happens. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes, so we can find very important information about, for instance, court trials, previous court trials. If we see that company is involved in a lot of court disputes with its business counterparties,
Yeah.
we can predict that even if it's very presentable, it looks very great, but it surely has some problems with its counterparts, and we can send that either it prefer to sue its counterpart or it's being sued by its counterparts, which is even worse. And that means that it's unpleasant situation, and this potential counterpart is unreliable. So even if a company tries to reveals to close some information, there are important and trustable ways to check it independently, and it's usually our job to find this information. We also have, uh, in addition to open sources, open database, we also subscribe for some special databases to check the companies. And some post registers we also can check company in press publications, so all this stuff to collect as much information as possible before Brazilian businessmen make decision about getting into contact with this company.
Okay, that's great. I ask it because I remember when I make my master's degree here in Russia, and my thesis is about goodwill, and I need to study a bit about looking how the company is established. So, and I remember the one case. It's one case of my thesis. It's about one Danish company that's about a startup that both one startup in Australia, and they thought that they both were great to us, but then it was not. So it was like or the investment was not so good for going and trying the market. So that's why I ask how about lies, because well, and sometimes we know that we have this kind of problem.
Of course, sometimes situation happens that not every piece of information can be retrieved. And in this case, we can provide some contractual protection for Brazilian companies. So we can include certain representation words in the contracts and to provide certain securities for these representations to involve as much legal protection as possible in this particular case. Of course, if the company lies in every aspect, and sometimes doesn't reveal its major secret. Yeah, it's not a very pleasant situation, but we will try to manage it from legal point of view as much as possible in both in due diligence side and both on the contractual side.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah.
So now it's my time for making my propaganda. For those that don't know, I come here in Russia for Vibrant Exhibition, and it's about a huge exhibition in Eurasia for franchise. And also, I put this question for Valentin. How is due diligence should be applied for franchise, because in Brazil we have one established way for doing franchise and so on, and Russia has another way. So, for example, if Brazilian ones would like investment franchise here in Russia, how is it? Or well, the contrary, we cannot do it for the moment, but about a Russian franchise. So, how do we diligence working or collaborate with it?
Yes, when we talk about franchise agreements and franchise partners, then basically we can propose the basic due diligence, corporate due diligence which I described, and also we can focus on certain intellectual property and franchise issues to better understand the background of this company's field. So normally, when a company seeks for franchisee, it normally seeks for some sort of experienced company. So if so the counterparty should have some sort of experience at certain field.
Yeah.
So we can check its track record in certain business field. We can check whether certain business areas are registered as their areas of competence in the registers. We can also check track records in the court trials, whether it was involved in certain disputes regarding franchise agreements before. Then it may be not worth to enter into a company which is not reliable and had some franchise disputes before. And also, franchise agreements are generally registerable in Russia, and trademarks are registerable in Russia. So we can ask the company to potential franchisee to present its previous experience in franchise companies and to provide some information to check in the register of trademarks or registered franchise agreements to confirm that it really has experience in the franchise arrangements before. So that's why I think that we also can help to understand the reliability of potential franchisee for the Brazilian system, because I think that if a company wants to find a franchisee, it needs to find the experienced one,
Yeah.
and we can check it whether it has experience in the
Yeah,
franchise field or
the majority of franchise,
Mhm.
they know a franchise, or they really know. I mean, some of them establish who should be the investor and so on.
Mhm.
Some are required that, for
Mhm.
example, if you work with medical stuff, then you
Mhm.
need to be at least a background of
Yes,
medical
exactly,
stuff,
exactly,
at least.
exactly,
And
exatamente.
seu português está cada dia melhor. Ansiosa para o próximo. And education as well, because if you just make business profitable, but you need to understand the background of
Yes.
the business, the franchise.
Yes, which is the previous portfolio of brands, if they mentioned it. So this information also can be checked in later terms.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes, it is our pleasure. Yes, and again, I want to emphasize that our company here is legal is here to help. Within the company, we have a lot of experience of supporting foreign investors from Europe, from the US, from even from Latin America to come here to Russia. And we are here to help.
Well, we hope that we can collaborate, and
Sure, sure.
we the Brazilian companies starting coming and they think about the Russian markets, and with all the information, the clarifying questions, it's much more easy for starting think about incoming. And I hope soon we can have more cases for talking about
Yeah.
and explain more about the Russian market and the relationship with Brazil. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Спасибо большое.
Obrigado, muito obrigado.
Eu que agradeço.